Hi guys, it's me, your resident Bree here, and I am back with another video. And Black lives still matter, and that's on period. In today's episode of Worth the Watch, we are going to be reviewing Spike Lee's new joint on Netflix, The Five Bloods. But before we get into that, I just want to address three little things. Just three little things. Number one, happy Juneteenth to all of my black people out there, okay? This is our day. This is our Independence Day. And here's what I expect of my fellow black people. Today is the day that you are going to be top tier as blackly black as you can be, okay? I hope you hang out with some blackly black friends. I hope you eat some blackly black food. I hope you listen to some blackly black music, and I hope you support some blackly black brands. And speaking of brands, that comes to my number two for this video. Today's black brand that I am supporting is the one and the only Queen Bee's brand, okay? I'm gonna expose myself just a little bit so y'all can see the shirt, okay? Yes, you can see my microphone. This says boycott Beyonce. Yes, Beyonce made this shirt. Let me prove it to you. Can you see it? Can you see it? Can you see that it says the Formation Tour, honey? Yes, I experienced the Formation Tour in person. Every time I wear this shirt, people think I'm serious. This shirt is not available on her website. I got this shirt at the tour. She made this shirt herself due to backlash when she did the Formation performance at the Super Bowl. So if you really want to know, you can look and Google all of that, but I'm not explaining this shirt to nobody today. And honestly, this shirt is just as relevant today as it was when she made it. So this is my black brand for today. And thirdly, since I recorded my last video last Wednesday for my review of Hollywood, America is still on one. 2 lives have been lost. One goes by the name of Robert Fuller. He was a 23-year-old young black man, and he was found hanging from a tree. Investigators say it was a suicide. I say that's bullshit. The second life lost, his name is Rayshard, and he was shot in the back fleeing the police in Atlanta. And when I heard about this, it made me think of the movie Detroit, which I saw when it first came out. One of the main police officers in this movie, he was chasing someone who was looting from a store. He shot him in the back with a shotgun, right? The chief called him in. They were basically like, you didn't really need to do that. He was running. And the chief asked him straight up, why? Why did you do that? And the police officer said, how else was I gonna stop them? This is modern day that today. What happened to Rayshard is that. My heart hurts for his family. My heart hurts for Robert's family. My heart still hurts for Breonna Taylor's family, and Ahmaud's, and George's. The petition links for Robert and Rayshard will be in my description below, as well as the links that I've been posting in my last few videos to support the Black Lives Matter movement and petitions against racial injustice. One of the links is a news article, and it has a list of bailout funds you can donate to. I highly suggest, if you haven't already, to donate to Atlanta's bailout fund. The protests aren't going to stop anytime soon, and the protesters are out there doing what needs to be done. So if you do go out there, please stay safe, and if not, please donate to their bailout funds, because again, black lives still matter, and I'm not going to stop saying that until people get the point and I start to see some real change. Now that I got my announcements out the way, today is Juneteenth, and I thought, what better movie to review than The Five Bloods? So without further ado, let's get started. As I mentioned before, The Five Bloods is a new Spike Lee joint that just dropped on Netflix, and it follows the journey of these 4 black vets who head back to Vietnam to A, find the remains of their fallen squad leader, and B, find the gold fortune that they buried in Vietnam with him. The movie is around 2.5 hours. The names of the main characters are Otis, Paul, Eddie, and Melvin. Their squad leader went by the name of Storm and Norman, and during this journey, Paul's son, David, joins them once he finds out that they're going to look for gold. Throughout the movie, David and Paul's strained relationship is prevalent, and Paul's PTSD is very clear throughout the whole movie. Now, though Paul wanted to be the leader of the group after Storm and Norman passed away, Otis in this journey is the leader of the group. He is the one who connected them with the guy that's going to help them clean that gold so they can transfer it into banks and use the money, and he is the one that found a Vietnamese guide for them that will take them to the land that they were once fighting on. Throughout the movie, the group just faces so much turmoil. Paul is spiraling out of control. 3 out of the 4 men die. The man who was supposed to clean their gold and their money really set him up and tried to kill them and take all the gold for himself. And Otis found out he had a daughter. There was a lot of action in this film with a lot of great monologues, specifically coming from Paul. The one thing that I do want to warn you about if you're going to watch this movie is that there are a lot of graphic images. A lot of the real footage taken during the Vietnam War is inserted in this movie and throughout this movie. And though I found this movie pretty pretty educational. The images and videos you will see in this movie are quite disturbing, but they're real, they happen, and there's no way to get around that. And for all of my Kent State people, which is my alma mater, they do include the Kent State shooting in the movie. Like I said before, this is a Spike Lee joint, so you can expect his directorial style to come through very heavily in the movie. So if that doesn't really appeal to you, I don't really know what to tell you, but I still think you should watch the movie. I actually had scenes in particular in this movie that were my highlights, as well as overall general things. So again, spoilers will be distributed. One of my favorite scenes from this movie is when David stepped on the landmine and he realizes that he did before he takes his foot off. Now again, like I said, Paul and David's relationship the entire movie was strained except for this one scene. Before that happened, Eddie had just stepped on the landmine and blew up half of his body and died. So the group was at 110 when it came to stress and tension. On top of that, another group that David had met at the bar stumbled upon all of this and they got wrapped up straight in it. What I loved about the scene is that this is the only time that you see Paul fight for his son and his son's safety. He came up with the idea of putting a rope around his son and having everybody grab it and pull him so he'll fly off of it so he won't get hurt. And it works. It works perfectly. But right after they get done hugging, Paul is back at it. He is back at, if you don't do what I want you to do, you are not my son. I think that scene not only speaks for the writing of the movie, but the acting of the movie as well. Paul is the main character of the movie, and he goes through it. He is constantly having panic attacks. He's constantly lashing out at his friends and his son and strangers. He is literally a ticking time bomb. And I think he embodied how bad some people suffer from PTSD when they come from war, especially those who are drafted. And I hope whether it be for SAG or for the Oscars, his performance gets some type of nomination, because I felt so bad for him at times, but I was also so scared of him because you just never know what he was gonna do. He was threatening people, and if somebody put a gun to him, he was like, I dare you to pull the trigger. And that is someone who you don't want to mess with. And when you find out why he has so much PTSD and why Norman shows up so much in his dreams, it is so sad, because it was an accident. It was truly an accident, and he carried that baggage throughout his entire life. And it wasn't until a few moments before he died that he sees Norman and Norman says, I forgive you. And he can really just cry and get it out of his system and know that he died an honorable man to Norman. The musical score was just great. One of my favorite parts of the movie was when Paul decided to branch out from the rest of the group after they get attacked by, I'm assuming, I don't really know what they were. They, in the end, ended up working for the guy who was trying to wash their money, but we're gonna get into that because we're gonna get into that. But they got attacked by some Vietnamese people with guns, and Paul decides to go off on one side and everyone else goes off on the other. And though you could still hear the sounds of the movie, Marvin Gaye's What's Going On was playing, but not the music, not the background vocals, just him singing the lyrics. And it was so powerful. It was powerful for so many reasons, because while this is happening, the Vietnamese soldiers came back and realized that the group split up. So 3 or 4 of them are following Paul, another 3 or 4 of them are following the group. You're getting Paul talk to himself on the scene. You're getting the group trying to get David to safety and get to this temple because David got hurt in the shootout. And then you get the overall tone and ambiance of the movie. It was just so much more impactful having the lyrics being sung, and that's it. I would have to say there was probably no better time for a movie like this to drop than right now, because one of the things that was a really concurrent message in the movie was how Black vets don't get respect that they deserve after going and risking their lives for this country. The whole scene was just really powerful to me. And a special shout out to another scene. It's not a highlight necessarily, but it just really touched my heart because of what's going on right now. In the end, they get the gold and the money washed somehow, and Otis donates about $2 million to the Black Lives Matter movement. And I don't know if I said this, but this movie is set in current day. Like, it has flashbacks, which we'll talk about, but it's all set in current day. So the money was given to the Black Lives Matter movement like right now, and they were chanting Black Lives Matter, and I was just like, man, like, there's no way that anyone working on this production could have known that when it dropped this would be happening. This storyline was ahead of its time, and I'm sure all the things that's happened in the world affected and impacted the script and the story. But I saw the trailer for this like 2-3 months ago. I think I saw it before Corona even hit. So no one could have known that this movie would be so relevant and so needed and so impactful right now in this very moment in American history. However, though I am praising this movie, I had some lowlights. I really had some lowlights. My first lowlight. Now, Spike had the current actors for the current day part of the movie, which were around like 60, 70 years old, play their younger selves from when they were 20. And at first, I thought I had a problem with that, but to be honest, there was so much going on that I probably wouldn't have known whose character was who if they switched out the actors or tried to do any type of digital de-aging to the characters. The only person who was their age during that time period was Chadwick Boseman's character, who was Storm and Norman. So I got used to it. I was like, okay, I'll accept this. I like this. However, at the end of the movie, they did like this picture because they were all, you know, bump fists in a star. And that's when they did the de-aging process. And I literally had to rewind because I was staring at Eddie's character for so long, not realizing that it was Eddie. I feel like if they were gonna do that principle of having them old even when they were younger, they should have just kept it. They should have just kept it. I think it would have meant more if they had the older looking versions of themselves in that picture, because that's literally how they remember Norman. They remember Norman looking how he was, but they were all old throughout the entire movie. So why would you de-age them in a picture? I don't know, but it threw me all the way off. I was like, Another low light. Now this could just be me. Sometimes, you know, it takes me a while to understand things. The plot twist in this movie was like an algebra problem, right? It was like they gave you everything you needed except for X, including the answer. And when the plot twist happened, you had to answer for X. Because the plot twist was that the man who was supposed to clean the money set them up and had the Vietnamese shooters, I guess, try to take the gold from them and make it look like they did it, but he didn't do. It's really not a rocket science ending. I just wish a little bit more conversation happened, because there was only one main guy who was the shooter, and if you missed his face, you would have no idea what was going on, like at all. The only thing that would let you know that the same Vietnamese people who were hunting them down are the same people that showed up with the guy at the end at the temple is Paul's red MAGA hat, and yes, I said MAGA hat, and the shooter, the like main Vietnamese shooter. But like I said, if you didn't see his face, you would just be like, how did he get Paul? Like, I guess the reason why I was so confused is because the entire time that the Vietnamese people were trying to take the gold from them, they were saying, this is our gold, this is our money, you're stealing from us, we want our gold, right? And Paul had kind of been making enemies this entire time, so it wasn't really hard to believe that someone maybe got whiff of this plan and was like, all right, we're gonna go follow them and get this gold after they go find it themselves. But then, why would the Vietnamese people, I don't, you know, I could just be thinking too much into this. Look, the low light is that I just wish the plot twist was explained a little bit better. If you think that the guy is going to backstab the black men, why would the guy not backstab you and not give you no gold either? I don't know. It just, things weren't clicking. It took too long for things to click for me, and if it takes too long, I don't like it. But nonetheless, the movie still has to get rated. So, on to my rating. I really want to give this movie an 8.5, but because I didn't create a half scale for myself, I'm going to give this movie a 9 out of 10. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 because the only real problem that I had with the movie was that de-aging thing they did in the Photoshop at the end. You had never seen the characters young before, so it was just kind of like, what am I looking at almost? I would give it an 8. Should I give it an 8? I'm not gonna give it an 8. Actually, I'm gonna give it an 8. I thought it was really good though. I don't dismiss like the plot, I don't dismiss the historical accuracy, I don't dismiss the directing or anything from the movie. Yeah, I have to give the movie an 8 in good conscience, because though it was a really good movie, I do think there were confusing points in this movie. Was it worth the watch? Absolutely. I think it's so relevant to what's happening today, even though what's happening today is not about the Vietnam War. What happened in America during that entire time is what's what's happening right now. It's also just a really good movie with really good acting, a really good storyline, great cinematography, a great score. And if you're like me and you didn't know a whole bunch about the Vietnam War, this teaches you some things. But of course, like I say in every video, you're the only person that can deem whether a movie or a TV show is worth the watch. So I highly recommend that you go watch Five Bloods on Netflix yourself. Let me know how you felt about it. Put your feelings in the comments below. Again, happy Juneteenth to all of my beautiful black people out there. I hope you blackity black it up out there today. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, loves.